What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Across the Pond, where two American boys talk about the worldwide world of soccer/football. I am the host, Richard Rodillo, joined by the man with the noggin right across from me, Jacob Bullard.
Greetings.
Welcome to Across the Pond. Like I said, two American boys talk about the worldwide world of soccer/football, mostly Premier League. We get into some European stuff. But yes, shall we start? Jacob.
We shall.
Nice. Okay, here we go. We are going to England with Fulham versus Bournemouth with the first game of the weekend for the Premier League. Bournemouth won 3-0 in a pretty impressive victory, I guess, in a way for them. I mean, they're
Sure.
middle table team.
Impressive win against Fulham? That's kind of an oxymoron these days.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to be nice to Bournemouth.
Just saying.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm nice. Anyways, 3-0, like I said. The scoring was opened up by a penalty shot in the 14th minute by Callum Wilson, which then he later scored to seal it, or was already sealed technically, to get another goal in the 85th minute. And then also in the 72nd minute, David Brooks scored. But right after that, Kevin McDonald unfortunately got a red card, which I missed apparently. It did not show this, but it's okay.
It was a second yellow.
Yes. Fulham possessed the ball 52% of the time to Bournemouth's 48, with 11 shots with 1 on target, and then 12 shots with 5 on target for Bournemouth. Yeah. I think this is what I picked Fulham just to pick against you because it was fun.
How'd
But
that go for
out.
you?
Did not work
You
out.
learned your lesson. Don't ever pick against me.
But I still won in a way because I had Callum Wilson starting on my fantasy team. So 2 goals in my favor. The penalty was pretty convincing, I guess. You know, Fosu Mensah, it's a tackle you shouldn't have made in the box. The second goal, David Brooks, again, just finding the back of the net. I think this is like 3rd goal in the last 4 games for them, for the Premier League.
Sounds about right, yeah.
And then another Callum Wilson goal where you just like rocketed it inside or near post past Fabrico, I think this is the Fulham goalie's name. But was not a job well done. Get in and get out, because I think it was at Craven Cottage too. So it's good to continue the momentum for Bournemouth, beating down on these teams. With 3-0 to Fulham, obviously. I think Burnley beat them 4-0, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like their only really
like 3
bad
weeks ago now.
performance.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was a pretty good outing for them.
Yeah, Bournemouth are doing well. They're in 6th at the moment after this week's results. I guess I expected Bournemouth to win this game, but I think that just the way Fulham have been playing recently, that this 100% should have been the result.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think the back line for them is too shaky, and then the midfield is really not giving them any help either. I think the Brooks goal was like basically a ball given up in the middle of the pitch, and then basically was a counterattack, and you can't really do anything about that, unfortunately, when you have guys chasing the ball.
Yeah, Fulham are going to have to get it together somewhat quickly because they have both Liverpool and Manchester City in November, so those are not going to be games where they can expect to take any points. So they really need to start beating or getting at least 1 point, draws against some of these mid to low table teams. But that has not been going their way recently.
Yeah, and as we get into it, a lot of teams that are in the side of the table that they're at are actually performing pretty well. But let's keep moving. Liverpool, Cardiff City. Liverpool won 4-1. Mo Salah opened up the scoring. I guess he's back, maybe. We'll see. In the 10th minute, and then another goal, or 2 goals, by Sadio Mane in the 66th, and then the 87th. And then Callum Patterson scoring again for the second time in a row, or 2 weeks in a row, in the 77th. And then I can't say his first name right now. Zerdan Shaqiri because I usually just call him Shaqiri. Scored in the end of the game at the 84th minute, and then Mane obviously scored. Typical Liverpool. I think I called the score on this one, honestly.
I think you did call it exactly.
Yeah. So Liverpool possessed the ball 80% of the time to Cardiff is 20% of the time. I don't know how to say that right. And then 19 shots with 7 on target for Liverpool, 2 shots with 1 on target for Cardiff City. Very much like playing like George in FIFA. Textbook win by Liverpool. Definitely had created chances. It seems like this week they actually were able to finish a lot better than their past kind of games where it was like a 2-1, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where they probably should have had 4 or 5 goals. This week they showed up and, finished. I'm not too sure how much is going to build up Mo Salah's confidence with that first goal. Hopefully he does. I had a good week with Sadio Mane, another guy that was on my fantasy team. It's pretty sick. But yeah, the build-ups and everything seem very much like what Liverpool should do, especially against a Cardiff City team like this. And I don't know how you can fix Cardiff City. Honestly, the problems were I think already there before the season even started. So I don't know how much you can improve this team, but at least they're scoring, they're trying. I think they had like another chance that was off target, I believe, besides in this game. And then the kind of deflection goal that they had, or deflection that kind of like ended up into a cross, which kind of benefited them. I mean, it was a 2-1 game at the time, but then kind of Liverpool just took the keys, turned on the car, and drove away.
Yeah, I think Liverpool, like you said, Liverpool did a lot better putting the ball in the back of the net. Because I think I only had this game as like a 2-0 or 3-0 because they just haven't been. They had the 1-0 against Huddersfield last week, I think it was.
Yes. But like you said, or like I've said, that they just weren't able to put those chances away like they were able to do it this past week, which was the Liverpool team that we should be expecting.
Yeah. Salah definitely, I think he had a goal and 2 assists in this game. I'm not sure that Cardiff is the best measuring stick for like whether or not he's actually, performing better. I would look more towards like the 1-0 or like the loss to Napoli. Did he play in the Red Star Belgrade? I'm not sure. And then like the 0-0 at home to City 2 weeks ago now. But it's good for confidence that he's contributing more. Sadio Mane obviously is having himself a pretty good season. Probably maybe 2 years ago. I don't know. I think he might be on track for his best Liverpool season ever, I think, this year.
Yeah, I think you'll probably see the switch from, Mane was a good supporting role last year, and then now I think Salah's probably going to be in that slot, and then he's going to be the guy that's probably going to be scoring most of the goals.
Yeah,
seems
it's
like
looking that way.
But also teams might be just honing in on Salah a little bit more, or trying to prepare for him more. And when you do that, and you have just as good of a player on the other side of the pitch, only bad things are going to happen.
Yeah.
Moving on, we got Watford versus Huddersfield. Watford won 3-0 with a goal in the 10th minute by Roberto Pereira. And then Gerard Deulofeu. I was going to say Gerardo
de La Feo.
And then Isaac Success scores in the 80th minute. And then the Deulofeu goes in the 19th minute. Oh, sorry for missing that. Watford had 48% possession to Huddersfield's 52. 12 shots with 6 on target for Watford, and then 13 with 7 on goal for Huddersfield. Very much what not like I wouldn't be surprised about the scoreline, but a team that I think is figuring it out, and I think are going to be battling for that 8th spot or even higher if they keep on playing like this against like the lower end teams and kind of challenging the top 6. And I'm excited because now Deulofeu is going on the pitch. I think he's kind of taking the spot from Will Hughes because I don't think he was on the pitch at all. Or I think he's injured or something like that, and that's kind of opened up the opportunity for him. But other than that, yeah, they're finding like I said, I think I said a couple weeks ago, as long as they're finding guys in the lineup that are scoring goals, whether it's Pereira, Dini, Gray, and now it's this week is a Success and De La Feu. So they're getting different combinations in there, and the build up to like their play, they're similar to what we saw in Bournemouth in a way, and they're a really exciting team to watch. Honestly, I think that's what another thing too is, but.
Yeah, Huddersfield are at the bottom of the table now because of this result, this 3-0 loss to Watford. Watford are looking more like they did in the beginning of the season when they were like up towards the top of the table after they beat Spurs. I think it was in like the 4th or 5th week.
They were like 3rd or something like that.
Yeah. For some reason, like with Cardiff, the way Fulham are playing right now, the way Newcastle are playing right now, and Huddersfield, it feels more than I can remember in any at least recent seasons. Like there are truly like 4 or 5 basically championship teams that are in the Premier League right now. And then there's like all the kind of mainstay people, like your Leicesters, Everton, West Ham. Although West Ham's not doing too well at the moment either, but like you have a whole bunch of regulars who just finish mid-table every year. And then obviously like the top 6. But this like just the level to which these teams are struggling, like your Huddersfields and Cardiffs and Newcastles, it's just even the mid-table teams are beating up on them pretty badly. And I don't really remember it being that way because like even last season, all 3 of the teams that were newly promoted stayed, I think, right? Huddersfield stayed, Brighton stayed, and who else came up last year?
No, I don't. I think the third team.
Did one team go right back down?
No, Newcastle?
No, Newcastle. This is Newcastle's 3rd year, I think.
I think it's their 2nd.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah, they just came up last
year.
So
yeah, because it was Stoke, West Brom, and not Hull.
Hull went down the year before.
I'm blanking.
I'm blanking too. This is hurting my head. Sunderland went down the year before because now they're in League 1.
Right. Anyway, in any case, I think it was all 3 teams that were newly promoted stayed. And now this year, there's so many, like Fulham struggling so bad and Cardiff struggling so bad. It seems like they're just going to drop right back down. He wasn't ready.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Cardiff's moves that we saw in
Cardiff, you could see
in
this
the
coming.
summer.
Yeah.
You could just, it was like telegraph and who they signed. I get like Leicester City signed like Norwich or Madison from Norwich. Okay, I understand that, but that was a guy that's like coming through and like, okay, this makes sense for him to make the next step to the Premier League. Same thing with like Dele Alli going to like Spurs, that kind of move. But from what we saw in the offseason, they didn't really make any moves. Huddersfield made a couple moves, grabbing some guys that were dropping down, and then bringing some guys up with them, but. No, they stayed up. My bad. Sorry.
It was Swansea that went down last.
Yeah, Swansea. There you go. Yeah, because they traded the Welsh teams. They just didn't seem like they didn't reload in the right ways. But so you can get lucky, like how we're gonna get to probably talk about the Brighton later on. But let's get into the next game. We got Southampton versus Newcastle United in the boring game of the week.
Whew.
Even though it was mostly just Southampton. It was a 0-0 tie or draw. 50 is straight even, not even just in score, but in possession as well. 50 going to Southampton and 50 going to Newcastle. 22 shots with 4 on target for Southampton and 6 with 0 on target for Newcastle. And that shooting stat kind of sums up Newcastle's kind of season at the moment.
Yeah.
But at least, I mean, they still got 1 point out of it. They didn't drop points, even though it's a game they probably should have lost. It was just chance after chance. Like the whole all the highlights was basically Southampton going forward and watching Newcastle. I mean, they structurally they're pretty well structured in a way, but there were still chances there where it was more or less Southampton not finishing the goals. I mean, you can say they probably got lucky today or lucky that day, but to me, it's kind of a sign that it's not good to be outshot like that by a Southampton team. Even though I give Southampton a lot of credit. They got Shane Long, Austin, Reedman, what's his name from that came over from Juventus, Lerma, right?
Yeah.
and then
Lamina?
Højbjerg as well.
Yeah, Højbjerg.
So they definitely have a decent lineup. It just obviously didn't go their way, but getting work like that is not a good sign, especially when I would expect more out of this Newcastle team in my eyes. I just don't know.
I think we've been waiting for like a few weeks now for Newcastle to kind of get it in gear, because I think that after
the beginning of the season,
I think that after last season, everyone kind of thought that Newcastle were gonna not like they weren't gonna be the Newcastle of like the mid to late 90s, but like they were gonna establish themselves as a regular again. I think is kind of the feeling that people had, especially like when they were able to hold on to Rafa Benitez after they went down, because he was their manager when they went down, right? And then they came straight back up.
He filled in after they got rid of Pardew, I believe.
Yeah.
And then he came in and then went down with them and then brought him back up.
Right.
I mean, they brought in Moto. They brought in some midfielder guy. I forgot his name already. They made some decent acquisitions, but they're not mid-table quality acquisitions in a way, I guess.
Yeah,
and also not bringing back Mitrovic. And I think that's probably going to hurt him because like he's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer for Fulham, and like they're not able to find the back of the net. And I'm just nervous about this because obviously, I have like a spot in my heart for Newcastle in a way just because of True Geordie and like how passionate he is about that team. But it's kind of disappointing to watch a team with so much history and so much money in the bank as well. And a lot of those fans are, it's like one of the biggest fan bases in England as well. So it's kind of sad to like see these guys not perform for those guys either.
Yeah. I feel like their window is closing. I feel like so we talked last week about the stat of the other teams that came up with Newcastle, like what their net, they were like in the 50 to 60 million pound like net spend, and Newcastle was at 1 million pound net spend. And I feel like Rafa Benitez is super frustrated. The fans are super frustrated. I just feel like if Benitez was to walk away,
they're fucked.
I feel like I feel like they could crumble.
Yeah.
Like they had a chance. They did truly have a chance to return themselves as a regular Premier League team, and they've blown it. With like some of the moves that you've talked about. This week I think last week against Brighton they lost 1-0, and they were a little bit unlucky because they were the ones with all the shots, and Brighton had just like a couple shots on target and scored one of them. This game they just like weren't able to get anything going at all, and it just seems like they're kind of spiraling at the moment. So they're another team that needs to recover quickly, because I mean, like, here we are, like, by the time the next games are being played, it'll be November.
Yeah.
And they have yet to register a win this year, so.
Especially against Southampton, who's somewhat struggled, but also you should be able to counterattack against that team that was putting that many shots on you.
Yeah.
So let's keep moving. We got Brighton versus Wolves. Brighton surprisingly won 1-0. I think this game was like I think this is like the first game of the year where like one of the teams were like favored by like a lot and lost. Maybe the United game in the beginning of the year. Who they lose to?
Like United, West Ham.
Yeah, no, United, Brighton earlier.
Oh, yeah,
that's like
too.
the other one. But Brighton's doing really good, and they are led with a goal in the 48th minute by Glenn Murray. They possessed the ball 40% of the time to Wolves 60%. 7 shots with 1 golden shot on target for Brighton, and 25 shots with 7 on target for Wolves, unfortunately, and not finishing. I think this win kind of sums up Brighton in a way. Scoring a goal by Glenn Murray, and then just I don't want to say parking the bus. So that's like they defended really well.
They were well organized.
Yes, to absorb a lot of pressure. And the Wolves have a pretty gnarly attack going forward, so you can't really knock Brighton for not, or playing that style or having to, play like that, because Wolves were bringing the heat, especially at the end there. 2 good saves by I forgot his first name, but Ryan is his last name.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, Matt Ryan.
Yeah. The Aussie.
Yeah. So good performance for Brighton. They seem like they are. They might stay up this year for sure. Again. Glenn Murray. I think he's about to. I think he had 12 goals last year. I believe maybe. I have to double check
sounds about
that.
right, I guess.
And he seems like he's probably on pace to maybe get more than that this year. So
Yeah, I think so.
which is pretty crazy. Not to say like he's older and like that, but he's his right place, right time. And I think Brighton are at the right place, right time right now too. And I don't know, Wolves, I think it's just a bad week. I think they're their first really bad week of the year. And against a Brighton team that actually is performing, but I don't know what else you can say for Wolves. They did what they needed to do, but they just didn't finish.
Yeah, I agree. I think the problem that Wolves have been having for the last few weeks now, because they had a whole string of like 1 and 2-0 wins, basically like the whole month of September, and I think what's happened now, like last week they lost against Watford and then 2-0 to Watford, and then this week to Brighton. I think that they're just coming up against teams that like Wolves is the counterattacking team, and I don't think that Wolves knows what to do when they are not allowed to be that. So like Brighton made Wolves come to them.
Yeah.
And like that's obviously not the way that they want to play. That's why I think you've seen them with so much success against the way they played against Everton, where like Everton played them very openly. And then the draws at City and United. I think that like they're definitely much more suited to that style of play, where they are not the dominant team possession wise. And so like the game against Brighton, like the Brighton just kind of inverted it on them, and Wolves didn't know what to do. And I think that's been the case for. So I think it's probably the last couple of weeks is a good blueprint for the rest of the middle tier teams as to how you can kind of thwart Wolves, as long as you're careful.
Yeah, because the week before, obviously playing Watford, and they kind of have a similar attacking lanes with going through the middle. Really, I think Wolves probably needed to get more wide. I mean, they have also a formation where you're able to break down these park the bus kind of teams. It just didn't seem like it just didn't fall in the back of the net. But I think it's just like 2 bad hiccups. I think Watford is actually a good team this year. Last week was just a tough loss.
Yeah,
this is just like a game where minimum you should have drew, obviously. But if this is like the worst week of the year, or it might be another one or two, but being this far in the season and this being your worst week of the year and where you're at on the table is not a bad thing. It just, you got to be able to learn after this loss.
Yeah.
And then keep moving, I guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't really be too discouraged if I was Wolves. Like the reality is that yes, they lost 2-0 to Watford and 1-0 to Brighton, but all 3 of those goals came in a span of like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Watford scored twice in 2 minutes, and then Wolves were asleep at the very start of the second half.
Yeah.
In this game and gave up a goal, and so it's like other than that, they dominated both of those games, and I don't think it's really anything that they need to be worried about. And they've already banked themselves enough points that, barring like complete total collapse, like they're fine already.
Yeah.
So they'll be okay.
Let's keep moving. We got Leicester City, West Ham United. I was going to call them Watham United for some reason. Watham. 1-1 draw. West Ham opened up the scoring in the 30th minute by Fabian Balbuena. I always want to say Valbuena, but it's Bal.
Yeah.
It's like different. It hurts my brain. Then it was followed by a gruesome tackle by Mark Noble and being sent off with a... yeah, it was pretty bad.
Okay, continue. We'll talk about it here in a second. Continue. Finish your stats.
Gruesome was not... Okay. With a red card in the 38th minute, and then followed by a goal by Wilfred Ndidi off of a deflection, I believe, right?
Yes. Huge deflection.
And
I think it was Balbuena that deflected.
Yeah, it went off his ass.
Yeah.
64% possession went to Leicester to 36 to West Ham. 21 shots with 7 on target for Leicester, and then 11 with 3 on target for West Ham. I think the way you summed it up, unfortunately, it was a unfortunate result for West Ham.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that tackle was pretty bad.
I don't think that was a red card. I think it was yellow. He was not. There wasn't a lot of like forward momentum. Like I don't think he would have ever broke his leg or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like was it a bad challenge? Yes, but like there was almost no force behind it. He was basically like standing stationary and then stepped on his stepped above his ankle.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is that he was directing the ball into a different direction to where he made Noble probably have to reach out even more, and that's where it ended up. But I still think it was a red card. Just because it was too high. It was just too high.
I've seen, as a Manchester City fan, I've seen way worse tackles than that, and the dude not even get booked. Like, I could pull up probably 7 or 8 tackles from last season of, like, Brahim Diaz or Leroy Sané or the game against Spurs last year where Harry Kane almost broke Raheem Sterling's leg, and then 15 minutes later, Dele Alli almost broke Kevin De Bruyne's ankle. Like, there have been way worse tackles that have gone completely unpunished even within the last, like, even couple months.
Okay. Well, I still thought it was a red card, so but yeah, I don't really have much to add. Just the chances weren't finished. Both teams had like corner chances. I know Maguire had a header. Iborra could have had a header. Thinking of West Ham, it was kind of surprising to see how much they didn't possess the ball, but maybe they were doing that just like how Brighton allowed Wolves to come at them. They were like, well, Leicester can't really do that either.
Leicester's not like a dominating team.
Yeah, they just really rely on a lot of counterattacking. So
I think that West Ham would have, the way that they played in the first half, I think that West Ham would have comfortably won this game if not for the red card. I think that they would have got a second goal before Leicester scored. I think that the way that the Leicester goal came like so late and with the deflection was super unlucky. They were defending. They played really well with 10 men for like basically the whole second half. They did give away like a few chances, which is going to happen when you're down a man. But like, yeah, the one that sticks out to me is Iborra getting through on that set piece. It was just a free kick, I think it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't a corner or anything like that. And there was also a Vardy header that went just over the crossbar.
Mm-hmm.
So like Leicester had their chances to equalize much earlier than they did. So I guess, well, I mean, I think West Ham would have won. Like I said, West Ham would have won this game without the red card. Given the number of chances that Leicester missed, I suppose that it's fair that they did score eventually. But yeah, it was. I think I would be concerned if I was Leicester. I don't think that they were playing very. When it was 11-on-11, they were not playing well.
Well, it's Leicester, so
I mean they're like solidly mid-table team.
Yeah,
They won the league 3 years ago.
I know, but they got old.
It's true, and they didn't replace Riyad Mahrez.
Exactly. Let's keep moving.
Let's do it.
We got the the knockoff version of the London Derby with Crystal Palace versus Arsenal with a 2-2 draw. The scoring was opened up by Luka Milojevic, right? I don't know how to pronounce that. Milovic.
Something like that.
He's Serbian. That was the guy that keeps on missing penalties from.
Not today.
Not today, though. No, but previous weeks he's done that before. He scored 2 penalties, actually. One in the extra time of the first half in the 46th minute, and then again in the 83rd. Granit Xhaka had I believe it was a free kick in the 51st minute. And then Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang tying the game, taking the lead, actually, in the 56th minute. Crystal Palace possessed the ball 42% of the time to Arsenal's 58%. 16 shots with 3 on target for Crystal Palace and 7 with 2 on goal for Arsenal. This is bad defense by Arsenal, honestly.
Well, yeah, you never want to give away
Mustafi.
2 penalties.
Yeah, Mustafi's, and then I believe it was Xhaka as well, who played at left back in this game.
There's your first problem. Xhaka at left back.
I think
What happened to Klassen, actually? They signed him last season, and now it's just he's gone.
He
doesn't play anymore.
But Xhaka, he has obviously the free kick ability, and that's good to have, and he's good on the ball. And then you're not also relying to him in the midfield, so you have him played back a little bit.
Yeah. I think it was another decent showing from Guendouzi. Obviously, he's still very young and prone to inconsistency. I did have this, I believe, if I remember correctly, I had this as a draw because I felt like Arsenal were due to drop points after such a long run of wins in their last 7 or 8 games, I think it was. Yeah, I would be concerned. Just they won all these games. They didn't really play anyone in any of those games of significance, and I think that the defense would be concerning against any serious team.
Yeah.
So
I agree with that. I think going forward though, they're somewhat fine with Aubameyang and Lacazette, and as long as they play Ozil in the right spot.
Yeah.
You know what I
Ozil
mean?
once again playing in the middle this week, and Aubameyang on the wing.
Because they beat
Leicester last week.
Leicester, yeah. 4-1 or something like that, 4-2. But yeah, I in my eyes, they probably should have won this game. Just defensively, they need to clean that shit up. Clean it up. Throw it away. Never see it again.
Yeah, I just don't think that Mustafi and Holding are they're good enough for Arsenal.
Yeah, and then isn't what's his name still hurt or something like that? The French dude. Oh my god, I'm blanking on him. Starts with K.
The French dude starts with a K. Coquelin?
No, for Arsenal.
That doesn't start with a K. I don't know who. I am blanking on who you're talking about.
He's the spiky hair. Kind of has a similar dude to El Shaarawy. Cole, he missed out the World Cup because he got hurt.
Totally drawing a blank.
Oh my god, I'm gonna look this up right now.
I don't know, dude.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I'm probably you're gonna look it up. I'm not even gonna ever have heard of this dude. Starts with a K?
Yeah, he's French. He's 85 rated, 84.
Oh. Wow. I'm really I'm so ashamed of myself. You're talking about Laurent Koscielny.
Koscielny, there you go.
I was thinking of an attacker. I was like,
No, he's a defenseman.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Yes,
Moving
I do
on.
think he is still hurt. But I'm
Yes.
actually not sure.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about him in a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm super embarrassed right now.
I didn't know his name, but I'm like, I know his face. And Koscielny, there you go. I was thinking
honestly, I totally forgot about him.
I was thinking in my head Coney, Con.
Yeah. I'm
I'm
sorry, Laura. If you ever watch this, Laura Koscielny, I'm sorry.
He just speak English. It doesn't matter. Anyways,
Mercies, thank you. I don't know how to say I'm sorry in French.
Burnley versus Chelsea. We're moving on. Chelsea won 4-0. Surprise. I picked Burnley.
Good job, Chelsea.
I picked Burnley just for fun, but oh man, this is a straight ass whooping.
This was Chelsea without Eden Hazard too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this was real bad.
Alvaro Morata opened up the scoring in the 22nd minute with the Ross Barkley following him in the 57th. Willian in the 62nd, and then Ruben Loftus. I can't say it. Loftus Cheek. I'm sorry. I saw his Twitter thing, and then he said it was nice scoring my first Chelsea goal or something like that. And I was like, oh, how cute. You're never going to find the pitch again, probably.
Thus.
In the extra time in the 92nd minute. I was not surprised in a way of this. Unfortunately, Burnley's long ball didn't find the back of the net at all. This is a game that Chelsea should be winning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Regardless if Hazard's on the pitch or not. I don't know how much that I can't really add much. This is just a game where Burnley were just there's not enough quality there.
Yeah, I think it was good. Once again, I know I said this a few weeks ago, the last time Alvaro Morata scored, but I think they need to get him going if they truly want to guarantee themselves a top 4 finish, because I don't think that they're going to be able to just ride Hazard all the way to the top 4.
They could though.
It's possible, especially the way that he's been playing the last month or so. He had a incredible month of September and a pretty good October. I think that these sort of results were always what we were going to get this year with Chelsea because of the lack of Champions League games. Obviously, they're playing Europa League games, but they can rotate in the Europa League games because they're not playing anyone at all. So like the Europa League games become, at least the early round Europa League games become basically like what the cup matches are, like the Carabao Cup matches are for most of the big teams. So I think it's working in their favor because I think they would be, like you saw it the last few weeks with Liverpool, for example, or how City slipped against Lyon in the Champions League as well. And Liverpool struggled to score goals for a few weeks once the Champions League got going. So I think this was always what was to be expected without Chelsea out of the Champions League. So 4-0. And probably even could have been a couple more, but
yeah,
it was a good result for Chelsea. And these weren't any, like, Burnley, I don't think should have expected a point from this anyway, so it's no skin off their back.
Dun, dun, dun. Get owned. Let's keep moving. Manchester United versus Everton. Manchester United won 2-1 with a goal in the 27th minute by Paul Pogba. And then a goal in the 49th minute by Anthony Martial. And then a penalty in the 77th for Everton by Gylfi Sigurdsson. I can't say his last name by itself for some reason. I have to say, yeah, but I have to say
it
his
only
first
works
name.
if you say his first name. It has to be a run.
In my head, it only works that way.
You gotta get a running start.
Yeah. Manchester United possessed the ball 54% of the time to Everton's 46%. 14 shots with 10 on target for Manchester United, with 14 shots with 6 on goal for Everton. Definitely a game where it could have ended the other way. Could have ended in a draw. And it also could have ended in an ugly for Everton as well.
Yep, I agree with all of that.
Very good game by Victor Lindelof. I think he probably this is probably his best game he's played this year. Just the amount of clearances and coming out of the back and getting the ball out of the back as well. And a good connection, the French connection they had with Paul Pogba and Anthony Martial, just creating chances. It seemed like with what Mourinho's doing, they are doing what they can with what they're allowed to do, I guess. Paul Pogba needs to fix that penalty, whatever you want to call whatever that is, because it's like the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And he got really lucky and fortunate that he got the deflection or the save, and it came right back at him.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think it was a good victory. Bernard maybe should have put that chance away, but he didn't.
Maybe should have 100% should have scored.
But yeah, I was kind of surprised that Lukaku wasn't starting, but I was fine with that, honestly.
It's about time he's out of game.
Well, it's that, and then also I think Mourinho needs to wake up and know that, hey, you have another option. Like, you have options there, and you don't need to play the same lineup every time. You can definitely change the lineup around to be able to break down teams better, and I don't think Lukaku sometimes doesn't offer that against certain teams. I think Rashford did a decent job, but he probably should have went off first time on that. Whatever, I think it was like the ball that went over on him. But other than that, yeah, it was a good game. I went late to my grandma's 90th birthday thing because I was watching this game. But I don't know. I don't know what else to add that besides Victor Lindelof.
Well,
a good game.
Yeah, I agree with what you said about basically the result of this game could have changed at any given moment, and like the flow of this game could have changed at any given moment. It was just there were so many near misses and like almost passes in this game that could have Pogba's penalty could have been saved, or like if the ball deflects in like any other direction basically, then that you're not going to get that goal. Bernard, in my opinion, 100% should have scored. So this, yeah, it was just both teams struggled to take their chances, I think, but it was still, I don't know, I guess I don't know how to word it too well. They struggled to take their chances, but it was still an entertaining game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think all things considered, it could have been a draw, probably should have been a draw, but 2 points for United was probably the most, or sorry, 3 points, 2 goals for United, and 3 points is probably the most likely outcome given the chances that were available. So,
Yeah, and I mean Chris Smalling. Why? But yeah. Let's move on to the game of the week and the last game of our English games that we're going to be talking about. We got Tottenham versus Manchester City. Manchester City won 1-0 with a goal in the 6th minute by Riyad Mahrez. Yay, Mahrez scored, man.
yeah, yay.
48% possession going to Tottenham with 52 going to Manchester City. 4 shots with 1 on target with 13 and 6 on goal for Manchester City. A game where after you guys scored that, or after you guys took the chances, I think after like the 70th minute, and just not put anything away, you guys could have had this game end up in a draw with Lamela just kicking a field goal. I liked how they played on the pitch where they had like an NFL game.
Logo and like it was the NFL game was literally the night before.
Yeah, I thought that was funny though.
So it still had the NFL logo and like all the lines.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some complaints that the pitch was in like really bad shape, but it seemed like it played okay.
Mm-hmm.
That it didn't really affect too many people. Possibly though, they did show many slow motion replays of like Lamela's chance that he missed, so like the way the ball was bouncing in towards him, or like I guess normally that would have been like a smooth roll. So I don't know, but like he definitely still should have at least hit the target.
Yeah.
I think, and David Silva probably about 20 or so minutes before that, could basically had a tap in and inexplicably decided to pass the ball to Raheem Sterling.
I just don't think he had a handle on the ball, honestly. That's what it looked like. He was just, it was too far away from him to kind of get that like tap in kind of.
I guess.
From
maybe,
like when you saw the replay behind the net, that's what it like looked like to me, and that's why he was like, okay, well, Raheem, put this away, please, and then he did it.
And then he didn't, yeah. But from a Manchester City point of view, I think this was the right time to play Spurs. They've been struggling. They've been getting 3 points in a lot of their games, but they've been struggling for goals. I think it showed here. I mean, they only had the 1 shot on target. Lamela should have scored, but that Lamela chance came in the 83rd or 84th minute. And
the only other chance
that was like their only clear chance.
Yeah,
and
the only
Harry
other
Kane
had that shot, and then Musa Sissoko had a run, but literally did nothing with it.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. There was, Spurs had, it had to have been like 4-on-1 fast break and didn't score from it because Sissoko just held onto the ball too long and Fernandinho got back and like cut off his pass. But it felt much more like City treated this kind of like a Champions League game. You could tell also because Guardiola made a series of strange substitutions where the first person that came on was Company for Aguero, and so like there were a lot of weird substitutions like that where like we had Jesus was the last one that was subbed on, but like for probably the last 20 to 30 minutes of the game up until the very final few minutes we had 0 strikers on, like there was no one on the field. It was like Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne came on for I think Raheem Sterling. So like Sterling came off, Aguero came off for De Bruyne and Company. So like we had like basically like 5 or 6 midfielders and then our and like 5 defenders basically. So it was kind of weird how Guardiola approached it. But the 1-0 result,
obviously.
Yeah, maybe. The 1-0 result is good 3 points. It brought them back to the top of the table. Spurs were struggling for chances the whole game. So they've really continued to struggle for chances in the last few weeks. But yeah, it was a good result for City.
Yeah, I agree. Let's keep moving.
Yeah.
Let's go to Italy first.
Sure.
We shall move. What's the peninsula called?
I don't know.
The Boot. We're going to call it the Boot.
The Boot.
The Boot. We're going to go to Serie A, where we previewed 2 games from last episode. We have Napoli versus Roma, which ended up in a 1-1 draw with a goal in the 14th minute by Steven El Shaarawy, and then a goal late in the game in the 90th minute by Dries Mertens. Napoli possessed the ball 63% of the time to Roma's 37%. 26 shots with 5 on target for Napoli with 8 and 4 on goal for Roma. Yeah, I'd see from what we looked at, it was basically Roma doing kind of more direct, I guess, and then Napoli kind of attacking like out wide and crossing the ball in, I guess, which seemed kind of weird. I know Milik had a chance there. Mertens, from what I remember before he scored that goal, there was another chance there. There was just chances that it's not finished, obviously, but I don't know if you want to say Napoli was a better team in this game. I think both of the teams were equally had like good moments in the sense of where one team didn't really dominate, I guess.
Well, I would say Napoli were the better team in that like they had the bulk of the possession and the bulk of at least the shots. But I agree with you that like as far as clear cut chances, even though Roma only had 4 shots on target, I think they had just as many clear cut chances as Napoli were able to generate. So in that sense, I think the 1-1 was a fair result because you had Dzeko that just missed the top right corner with that shot from the top of the box.
Yeah.
And then Dzeko also had that one that was headed off the line where he rounded the goalkeeper. And then the guy on the line headed it away once he got around the goalkeeper. So Roma definitely could have had at least one more goal probably. And then as you said, I think the Milik chance is probably the one that sticks out for me.
Yeah, and then there's another I think Callahan at the far post, but the goalie was just right there at the right.
Oh, and
spot.
there was who's that midfield? Adrian that like dribbled through absolutely everyone.
He fed it to he tried to feed it to
Insigne, yeah.
Insigne.
So that probably should have been. So I think each of these teams could have had 2 or 3 goals, but I think 1-1 was a fair result. As tough as a draw as it is for Roma because of how late they conceded the equalizer, but it is what it is. I think it's a fair result.
Yeah. All right, let's keep moving. Lazio, Inter Milan. 3-0 to Inter Milan with a goal from Icardi in the 28th minute and in the 70th minute. And then Marcelo Brozovic. Jesus. I have him on my FIFA team. I can't say his name.
Shame.
Ugh. In the 41st
Words.
minute. God. Oh, my goodness. So Inter Milan possessed the ball 61% to Lazio's 39%. 21 shots with 4 on target for Lazio, and then 18 with 7 on goal for Inter. Silly chances that got put away, really. I feel.
The first one was like a deflection kind of to Icardi.
And then even like the last one, it's kind of felt. Oh, where's the Brozovic?
The Brozovic one was like a corner that was headed out, and then he scored from the top of the box. The Icardi one was like a clean through ball, and then he burned the left back with the.
Oh wait, never mind. Yeah, no, never mind.
I think that this was.
Yeah, that was murderous.
Yeah, this was the deserved result. Icardi had a really good game. I know that, they were very similar in number of shots, but Inter just took their clear chances. I think, they were fortunate to get at least one of those. Probably the first Icardi goal was fortunate that the ball dropped the way that it did, but otherwise they were just more clinical than Lazio were, and got the 3 points. Simple as that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Like I thought Lazio would have played better. It seems like the pieces that they brought in they're still not clicking. Nothing's like really clicking. It seems like the only way they're gonna channel goals is through Immobile, which is unfortunate. Even though Fabian, whatever the hell his last name was, the Spanish midfielder for them, probably should have did something better with the ball, but I don't know. Oh no, that was Napoli's game.
That was for Napoli.
What am I thinking? Jesus, no, yeah. No, it just didn't seem like anything is really clicking. Like I said, I don't know what else you can do. I'm not sure if it's a coaching or the way they set up. Because I know they can perform against good teams. It just, or if they're gonna show up, that's the problem, I guess.
Yep, I agree.
Right, let's move on. We're gonna go France.
Vive la France.
Marseille versus PSG. PSG won 2-0 with a goal in the 65th minute by Kylian Mbappe.
Surprise, surprise.
And then Julian Draxler following him in the 95th minute to get a definitive win over their league, not rival, probably competitor, I guess, like top competitor. It's not a rival. There's no rivalries in
league
this
cannon
league.
fodder.
Yeah, 47% possession going to Marseille with 53 going to PSG. 12 shots with 2 on target for Marseille, and then 13 with 6 on goal for PSG. I'm not
No
surprised.
surprises. Yeah, definitely no surprises here. I think Marseille should have probably scored at least once. But I think PSG are still unbeaten in the league, correct?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think they are. Yeah, PSG are 11-0. So they have played most of the team. Wow, Monaco's in 19th. I did not realize that. They've played most of the league and most of the bigger teams in the league. I think they've already played Nice, Marseille, and Monaco. So yeah, they're kind of running away with it. Good for Draxler getting the goal. Not surprised that Mbappe scored. Yeah, I'm really tired of that celebration, but whatever.
Well, it's the same thing like with when Shaqiri does it too.
Yeah, but see, Shaqiri to me doesn't come off as like cocky. Like Shaqiri to me anyway comes off as just like a little dude out there just having fun.
Sure.
Mbappe to me is like he comes off as cocky.
Sure.
Which is why it bothers me.
Sure.
Okay, whatever. So yeah, I mean, 2-0, no surprises. It's Liga, so
League.
PSG wins all the games. So
PSG should win all the games with that team. They should not drop points at any point in the season. But I think no, have they drawn yet? No.
They have been dropping points in Champions League though.
Yeah, but that's
because they drew. Wait, did they draw? Did they beat Liverpool? Or did they draw Liverpool? I think they drew Liverpool in the first game, and then they drew Napoli this past week. So they're not playing so hot in the.
They actually played a team.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the reality of
Unfortunately, sorry, League One teams. Let's keep moving. Last game of the week for Europe for us. We got El Clasico. We got Barcelona, Real Madrid. A ass whipping 5-1 victory for Barcelona. Felipe Coutinho opened up the scoring in the 11th minute with Luis Suarez getting a sweet hat trick. 1 goal in the 30th, 1 goal in the 75th, and then another goal in the 83rd. Marcelo scored a goal in the 50th. 1 goal for Real Madrid. And then Arturo Vidal scoring in the 87th minute to seal the deal.
Is that the first time Vidal scored?
I think he's probably scored this year.
I guess I haven't been paying attention to all the Barca games, but I don't remember him scoring before.
Well, he scores for my ultimate team, so that matters. That counts.
Yeah, okay.
53% possession going to Barcelona, with 47 going to Real Madrid. 13 shots with 8 on target for Barcelona, with 15 and 4 on goal for Real Madrid. One can say, and the way I've seen this game been broken down, is Barcelona kind of played like how Real Madrid played last year, with great team play and a lot of high pressure. And when you look at the Real Madrid team this past week, there was like no pressure and the lanes were opened up basically. Forgot how they got the first goal or who played right back for them. Maybe it was Semedo. No, Sergio Roberto.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was like a cross in that. Basically, he was like left out open because there was no pressure on the midfield, and he was able to feed the ball to him, and he crossed it in. And either it was the Coutinho goal or the Luis Suarez goal, which was it ended up being a penalty, I believe. But Barcelona is playing really good at the moment, and with this past week was the past 2 weeks because they beat Sevilla last week.
Yep.
Against good teams, I think that's really showing on how good of a team they are, and I think what we saw also this week with the sacking of the Real Madrid manager What was his last? I don't even remember his last name.
Lopetegui, something like that.
Yeah, terrible decision to bring him in. Obviously, unfortunate too. You got to fill the shoes of Zinedine Zidane, and then also you're losing Ronaldo, which we've already mentioned in previous episodes of how much of a hole that's been for them, and just not playing the team right. Also, I think is another thing. When you're not allowing those, I mean, unfortunate too, because you want to have like your own kind of footprint or kind of touch onto the team, but when the team's been kind of playing the same the last 3 years and then you change something up that wasn't really broken in the first place, you kind of are held accountable.
Yeah, there was a pretty interesting article that I read about how Real Madrid set this guy up to fail like before just by allowing the Ronaldo sale and then not replacing him with anyone of any significant caliber. They signed some like young like Brazilian player. I think they signed like 2 Brazilian players in the off season, but this was a Barcelona team without Messi, without Ousmane Dembele. I think this is the first Clasico since Iniesta left. Is that correct as well? This is the first one of the season, so probably.
Yeah, this is like the first one without Iniesta in like 20 years or something like that. Or he's probably missed one, but like since he's not been in a Barcelona squad.
Yeah. So, definitely concerning for Real Madrid that they got just completely dismantled by, like, obviously this team that Barcelona put out is like an excellent team, but like for Barcelona standards, this was a B Barcelona team.
Yeah, without Messi.
Without Dembele. So like it could have been much worse had everyone been healthy for Barcelona.
Would have been interesting because who knows? You know how some teams play different with a certain player on the pitch, and they kind of try to feed the ball to that certain player. I mean, that player would be Messi. I'm not sure. I'm not saying like Messi wouldn't have the result might have not been the same, but there's also the possibility where since you're feeding the ball through a certain player, it might not create the same kind of chances that they made because it was very much Team Barcelona this past week.
Yeah, I guess. So you're saying maybe like the absence of Messi helped them in that they like it was a much more team effort.
Yeah, and they needed like Luis Suarez to. Basically, he's not been the same Luis Suarez in the past year. It's been like a target man, Luis Suarez, but also he's like you know what I mean, where he's not making those runs on his own. He's having to rely on team play, and I think that's what benefited him this week. Obviously, being the spear of the attack. But yeah, I think it was really just a team effort for them, more or less. Obviously, Luis Suarez just happened to get the hat trick.
Yeah, I suppose.
But I mean, I'm not saying like Messi does harm to Barcelona. It just I think they play a little bit different.
How they play.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was like a full strength Real Madrid team. Obviously, a Real Madrid team that's been struggling for goals. They only scored once, I think, in the last like 5 or 6 games.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess they scored twice against Victoria Pilsen, but even that game they barely won. It was 2-1.
Yeah.
So obviously they've had a really, really tough run of results. So in that sense, them getting thrashed by Barcelona makes sense a little bit. Maybe I didn't expect it to be so bad, but I definitely expected Barcelona to win this game. But now they are promoting Santi Solari as their interim manager from the youth system, which is going to be interesting.
They didn't, yeah, because I think I saw an article where they were supposed to announce Conte apparently, and I was like, I don't know if you want to go down that line. I'm not saying Conte is a terrible manager. I just don't think he's gonna make them better.
Yeah. What I heard about that is that, or at least the opinions I've heard about that is that someone like Conte just provides organization, and the example that was used as like a comparison was that normally when Premier League teams are struggling, like they bring in a Sam Allardyce or a Tony Pulis or someone like that, because like those people focus on clean sheets in the defense first, and so like you can at least guarantee yourself 1 point from matches if you're keeping clean sheets and you have like a better structure as a team, and so like that's why someone like Conte would work, but Conte would not be the long-term solution to Real Madrid's problems, but just like someone for the short term to like get them organized, try to keep the ball out of the back of their own net, and then like they have the talent to score goals, that sort of thing. So, but promoting them from within, at least again for the short term, might end up being the better option, just because he's going to be more familiar with the.
I mean, technically, that's what
I would say
do
with like the Zidane style.
Well, that's what they did with Zidane, anyways, too. When they promoted him,
Right. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Let's get into some stats, and then we get into our previews for the week, our predictions, and then we're done.
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
Yep.
So, leading goals, I think it's because alphabetically. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang leads the Premier League with 7 goals, with Eden Hazard right behind him in 7th, and then Sergio Aguero in 6th, or with 6 goals in 3rd. Ryan Fraser is leading the league with assists. I believe he was leading the league with last week as well. Sergio Aguero continues to lead the league with shots with 47. Idrissa Gueye, or Gaia, is leading the league in tackles with 49. Then continuing to follow him, I think the last 2 weeks now, is Aaron Wan-Bissaka with 41. And then Mohamed Diame with 36 in 3rd. Aymeric Laporte is leading the league in clean sheets with 7. And then Lucas Fabianski is continuing to lead the league with 44 saves.
I used to think that it was really weird that they kept naming Laporte, but the more I've thought about it, he's probably played more games than anyone else in the back line.
Yeah, and he's also playing like left. He's played as a fullback, didn't he, for you guys?
Last season he did. Oh, no. It would have been this year because Mendy was hurt. So, yeah, he probably played
so
this year.
In there. So, yeah.
But we weren't keeping clean sheets when he was playing left back.
Okay, well, Liverpool and Manchester City tie for 1 and 2 with 8 wins in the league, with Arsenal leading right behind them in 3rd with 7. Cardiff City leads the league with 7 losses. Manchester City leads the league with 211 shots.
Hype.
West Ham leads the league with 210 tackles, with Crystal Palace right behind them with 193, and they are tied with Everton with 193. Chelsea leads the league with 7,135 passes. And again, since day one, baby, Burnley leads the league with long balls with 742.
That's ridiculous.
A lot of long balls being.
They've only played 10 games, so they hit 76 long balls a game. I wonder what like the actual definition of long ball is. I'm curious like how far it has to be a long ball.
2 feet.
Sure.
It's probably just the ball that goes over.
Yeah.
Over the waist.
Over the waist. Okay. There's still 3 undefeated teams in the Premier League.
Dun, 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 dun.
City, Liverpool, and Chelsea. None of those teams have lost yet.
Liverpool.
Just draws.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of them have already played each other because Chelsea has.
Liverpool played both of them.
Oh, they have. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because that Sturridge.
Oh, that's right.
The Sturridge goal drew, and then the 0-0
that.
against City. Yeah, so I'm sure. I think we probably play Chelsea within like the next month.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
I'm sure that's coming. We've already played Arsenal. I don't think Liverpool played Arsenal, and we've already played Spurs as well. So the only team in the top 6 that we haven't played right now is Chelsea.
Yeah.
And we haven't played you guys yet, but you guys are in.
We're not in top 6.
8th.
Yeah, we're in 8th. We moved up from 10th. Hey. Mourinho still has a job. Speaking of Mourinho, his Manchester United Red Devils, my Manchester United Red Devils, will be playing Bournemouth in the first game of the week at 5:30 in the morning, which I will not be getting up for.
That was a quality transition.
Yes, it was.
That worked out really well. That happened to just be the early game.
Mm-hmm. Jacob Bullard, who do you have at Vitality Stadium?
I'm going to go for a draw. I think you understand why. Yeah. Bournemouth have been playing really well the last few weeks. Yeah, and it's a home game for them.
Callum Wilson.
And you got Brooks, who's been scoring. You said 3 in the last 4 for Brooks.
I believe
Callum
so,
Wilson.
at least.
They've
King hasn't been the guy the last couple of weeks, but he's definitely has.
But he's there.
He has it in him.
Yeah, for sure. United got the win against Everton. Still missing chances that they should probably convert, and they were a little bit lucky to not give up a couple more against Everton. So I'm just gonna go. I just feel like it's gonna be a draw. I feel like Bournemouth are definitely capable of scoring against United, and United has also been incredibly inconsistent in the sort of performance that you get from them.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with United.
Imagine that.
I think what United would probably be to a lot of teams in the mid-table is a reality check.
Okay.
And what we did to Watford not so long ago and gave them a good old reality check. We're going to do that to Bournemouth this week.
Watford's still ahead of you in the table, though, fam.
Yeah, I know. I understand that.
Bournemouth still ahead of you. Even if you win this game, Bournemouth is still ahead of you in the table.
Well, guess what? We're going to be a lot closer to them after this week, okay? Because they're going to drop points. Or Rashford's going to get a goal, okay? You heard it here. He's probably not going to play, but he's still going to get a goal.
He's not going to play, but
He's still going to get a goal. Yeah, I think we're starting to click.
Is that what you saw against Everton?
Okay, we're starting. Yeah, we will attacking wise with like Martial and Pogba. I think they're starting to click. I think that we need to figure out what's going on with that back line. Victor Lindelof needs to keep the tape on his balls to his body. You know what I mean? Like it seems like they fall off because the tape just gets a little worn. You know what I mean?
What?
So yeah, because he has to tape his balls on.
Okay.
So sometimes they fall off.
Okay.
So the tape sometimes get worn, like I said. So he needs to keep his balls on. And I think, we'll probably, let's say 3-2.
Something
3-2.
Okay.
3-2.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. We're probably going to give up 2 penalties, honestly.
Wow. All right. Bold
Thank
prediction.
you, Ashley Young.
Okay.
But yeah, I honestly, I wish oh my God, I can't even say this, the Portuguese, Dilo plays, but he hasn't been given a chance.
Jose Mourinho not playing young players? What?
I mean, I would prefer him over Ashley Young with Valencia being hurt. Honestly, that's me. But I guess he has a lot of trust in Ashley Young, but whatever. So 79% going to Manchester United, 4 going to a draw, and 17 going to Bournemouth.
That is so generous. It's way closer than that. Even you know that.
Nah. Cardiff City, Leicester City, Cardiff City Stadium, sir. Who do you got?
As badly as Leicester have been playing the last few weeks, I'm going to go with Leicester just because Cardiff are hot trash. Simple as that. Cardiff are a champion, as we talked about in the review of the last week. Cardiff are a championship team disguised as a Premier League team. They are a lamb in lion's clothing.
A lamb in lion's clothing.
Well, normally it's the other way. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing or whatever. But the Premier League has a lion as their logo, So.
Oh, 3 lions. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
lambs because they have like a lot of lamb.
Sure.
Cardiff
suck.
Plain and simple.
End of story.
Okay. My turn?
Yep.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Okay.
I believe Cardiff is going to try to absorb pressure. And they're going to hey, Leicester, you want the ball? Take it.
Hey.
So what teams have been doing against counterattacking teams, I think what Cardiff is going to try to do.
Okay.
And I think Leicester has, or they probably believe they have the better quality to possess it and try to score like that. So
that's because they do have the better quality to try to possess
yeah, that's
it.
what I'm saying. They think, but what's going to happen is they're going to be just a draw.
Okay.
This has a lot of big possibility of being the boring game of the week.
This is true. And with Leicester will be obviously without Amarte because
he died.
He snapped his leg in two. And I think this will be somewhat of an emotional game for Leicester, which might kind of spur them onwards because of their owner dying yesterday as of recording.
Wow, that sucks.
2 days ago, I think, right?
I've never heard this news yet.
You didn't? Oh, so yeah, every time the owner attends a home game for Leicester, so this was the Leicester-West Ham game, he leaves, his helicopter lands in the middle of the pitch and picks him up and takes off. Well, the helicopter, only made it, a few hundred feet. It, crashed outside the stadium, and, everyone on the helicopter died. Yeah. So, the owner died and, 4 other, staff.
This is why you don't do that.
So there's, that's why the Leicester game today was canceled, the Carabao Cup game. And then they announced this morning that, this game is going to go on as scheduled. Okay. So this will be, the first game they play since, all that happened.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That sucks. So, 83% going to Leicester, 5 going to a draw, and then 12 going to Cardiff City. Let's keep moving, sir. Everton, Brighton Hove Albion, Goodison Park. What do you have?
I so badly want to say Everton, but I'm gonna go with Brighton because they just keep winning games 1-0. They just won't stop. Glenn Murray won't stop.
We gotta look up Glenn Murray's chant or whatever they do for him, and just sing that every time Brighton wins because of him.
Yeah, they keep just nicking goals with Glenn Murray, and Everton are a team that sometimes think they're like a big team and try to play like they're a big team, and then like one of the mid-table teams kind of smacks them in the face. They're like, "Hey, get back down here!
You are trash, sir."
So I'm gonna go with Brighton. I think.
I'm gonna go with Everton.
Okay. The logical choice.
I think Gylfi Sigurdsson is going to have a nice walk in the park. Dude. He's gonna have a nice walk in the park. Probably get 2 goals. You know what I mean, or at least a goal and an assist.
It is a home game for Everton. I'm gonna stick with Brighton though,
because Daddy needs some good points for his fantasy team. All right.
Okay. All right. I mean, fair enough.
So, 82% going to Everton, 6 going to a draw.
82%.
Yeah, and 12 going to
No.
Brighton.
That's ridiculous. 82% is ridiculous.
Those are facts, sir. Keep moving.
Yeah, let's do it.
Newcastle United, Watford, St. James's Park. Who do you got?
This is the perfect time for Watford to be playing Newcastle, because Newcastle suck, and they don't have any wins this year, and they've been playing like trash. They have a whole bunch of shots and none of them on target, or they have no shots. So doesn't really matter, I think, what Newcastle we get in this game. Watford have been playing really well at like the win against Wolves 2 weeks ago, and I'm already blanking on who they beat 3-0. Was it 3-0?
This past week they beat. Last week they beat Wolves. This week they beat.
I'm totally blanking. Huddersfield. So Huddersfield and Newcastle are kind of very similar teams this year, at least like results wise. So I think a nice 3-0 again for Watford will be a good result.
So guess who I'm going with on this game?
Newcastle.
I'm gonna go Newcastle. Just cause my balls say Rodeo, say Newcastle.
Okay.
And then the other was like, it's a Newcastle, man. So yeah, I'm gonna go Newcastle. I feel like they need it. They needed them more. They needed the more.
They needed the game against Southampton.
Yeah, they did. But I think there's definitely a blueprint on how to beat Watford, and I think Rafa Benitez will try and do that.
Okay.
Because I believe in him.
All right.
And I feel bad. Really bad. But Watford has 64% going right now, with 7 going to a draw and 29 going to Newcastle.
Okay.
Move on. West Ham, Burnley, London Stadium. Who you got?
I'm back on board that West Ham train. I did go for a draw last week against Leicester, I believe. So that was I did have that result.
Did you have the what's his name dying? Marty or whatever his name is.
Oh, getting his leg broken? No, I did not have that.
Well, you didn't get it right though.
Okay. West Ham obviously going to be without Mark Noble, but they did play last week without Arnautovic because he was sick. So I expect that he will be back, which will be a plus for West Ham. And Burnley have been kind of getting smacked around the last couple weeks because they played City and Chelsea. So I think they're going to be lacking confidence. And West Ham at home is going to get a 2-0 victory against Burnley. And you heard it here first.
This is very conflicting. Because guess what my balls said?
West Ham.
No.
West Ham!
No. My balls are like, Daddy go long!
Oh my goodness.
Because, Burnley's leading them long balls this year. And I believe we're going to see a Volksy kind of goal from a long ball.
Volksy kind of goal, okay.
So I believe it's going to be, let's say 2-1 Burnley.
Okay.
They're going to West Ham's going to give up a penalty, and then they're going to get a long ball on them. And then let's go Felipe Anderson with like a gnarly, just like a Depay kind of goal.
West Ham also without Yarmolenko because he ruptured his Achilles.
Oh, he's done for the year.
Yeah.
Do.
So RIP to that ones to watch card in FIFA.
Well,
It's worth no coins.
we didn't really have a good one last year either, so.
What?
Because he was at Dortmund. That was the one to watch.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm.
Fair enough. He got like one inform at least last year.
Is this okay? The next game, is this the game of the week?
This is the biggest game. I already looked at like the rest of Europe. This is the biggest game of this weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we got Arsenal versus Liverpool at the Emirates. What do you got?
I'm contractually obligated to not pick Liverpool.
Oh, that sucks.
So
that really sucks.
So I'm gonna go for a draw because Liverpool did score 4 against Cardiff last week, but they have not been playing well offensively against Champions League teams or the other bigger Premier League teams this year. So I know that I just spoke ill of the Arsenal defense when we were talking about their win
Who's gonna be
or their
playing?
draw against
Wonder
Palace.
who's gonna be playing left back.
Anyway, even if Granit Xhaka plays left back for Arsenal, I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw because I just feel like Arsenal don't have anything to lose in this game, and I hope that they play like it.
Mm.
So I'm going to go for a draw.
Well, that sucks.
'Cause you're
Because
gonna
I'm
go for
going
Liverpool.
Liverpool. Because it's the obvious pick. Because if the Arsenal backline it continues to play like this, and especially the way they played against Crystal Palace, I'm seeing like probably like 4-2 in this game.
Dang.
Yeah.
So you don't think Liverpool can defend either?
Well, we got one of the top goal scorers in Premier League on the other side.
Well, yeah, but they've not played anyone.
I don't care, dude.
Aubameyang didn't score against City. Aubameyang didn't score against...
Well, that first week didn't really
no, I don't
count.
think Aubameyang scored against Chelsea
He
either.
was like subbed on. He
I'm
didn't
sorry,
start.
did he score against either one of those big teams?
Well, he's
no.
gonna get a fair shake in this game, okay?
Okey-doke.
So I'm gonna go with Liverpool. The One Football app agrees with me. 63% going to Liverpool, 7 going to a draw, and 30 going to Arsenal.
Nah, that's probably fair.
Fair, you say. We got Wolves versus Tottenham. I'm not gonna say Wolves' stadium name. So I think it's the Monolix.
Yes.
I get it right. Okay. Yay.
You did it.
I did it, daddy. Who you got?
Wolves.
Ooh.
At home. Spurs can't score for a crap right now. They are struggling in the Champions League. They dropped points against PSV. And that was a game that they needed to win. So, like, they're basically out of the Champions League now. They couldn't get anything really going offensively except for that Lamella chance against City. I think Tottenham are... where Tottenham are going to struggle in this game is that they consider themselves the sort of team that could dominate Wolves. But, like, as we were speaking in the review portion about Wolves playing teams that made them dominate the game and they struggled, I think Spurs will try to dominate this game and will get hit on the counter by Wolves. Like, this is the sort of game, like, Wolves already took points off United and City, like, playing it this exact way. So, like, I think that Spurs need to be careful here, but I think that Wolves are going to win this game. Spurs aren't playing well right now.
Well, that's interesting. But to counter that, what you said in the first place is they're done with Champions League, basically, right?
I mean, yeah, they needed like a miracle to finish second.
So, with that said, I'm going to go with Tottenham on this one because they're probably going to play their best squad.
Yeah, they were probably going to play their best squad anyway.
But, I mean, yeah, so regardless, that's what I'm saying, because Champions League's done. Pochettino's like, we tried. So, yeah, I'm going to go with them because I know they're having scoring troubles, but they're due. They're due. So, the Harry Kane team
Negative Ghost Rider.
shall agree with me, and so does the One Football app, with 73% going to Tottenham, 6 going to a draw, 21 going to Wolves.
Sure.
Okay, well,
Wolves going to win that game,
sure.
I believe. Ruben Neves going to score twice. You heard it here first.
Let's get to the next game. It's going to be the slaughter of the week. We got Manchester City versus Southampton at the Etihad. This is
Ooh, home game.
I don't. This is sad. This is gonna be sad. It's gonna be a real sad game.
Possibly. So I guess what I didn't mention in the Wolves Spurs is that so City and Tottenham played last week, obviously, and both of them play 5 games in 9 days, including the match that we just had. So there's a lot of games in the next couple weeks, basically, for both of these teams between the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, and the Champions League, I think. Where City has the advantage over Spurs is that City can rotate and keep a incredible squad on the field while rotating. You just think of on the wing with Sane, Sterling, Mahrez, and Bernardo Silva. Any of them can start at any time, and City can score 5 on someone. So there's not really a B team. Kevin De Bruyne is going to be coming back, so I definitely think that City will win this game, but they do need to watch out. Both of them and Spurs need to watch out for fatigue over the next couple weeks. But City are better equipped for it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is gonna be let's go 5-0.
5-0 again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we got Manchester City with 89%, with 2 to a draw and 9 going to Southampton.
Good job, you 9% Southampton fans.
Yeah, yes, this is gonna be a total 360 from what Southampton tried to do last week, which they should have won. And I don't think they're going to be able to put any chances away this week.
Yikes. And City have been playing really well defensively.
Mm-hmm.
They have 5 straight clean sheets. We've scored 18 goals since the last time we conceded.
It's a lot.
It is.
Let's keep moving, sir. From the slaughter to
maybe slaughter.
To another slaughter, maybe to another one. We got another London derby. Chelsea, Crystal Palace at Stamford Bridge. Who you got?
I gotta go with Chelsea. Chelsea playing really well at the moment. They were without Eden Hazard. They won 4-0 last week without Eden Hazard. Hopefully Alvaro Morata actually starts scoring again. I keep saying every time he gets one, I'm like, oh, this could be it. This could be the trigger. It never seems to come, but maybe this is it this time.
We scored 2 in the last 2 weeks, I think. I think he nicked one in at the very end of the previous week.
I feel like it was longer than that ago, but maybe you're right.
Because I was talking about that should be a confidence boost.
Yeah. Palace, I think, though, are definitely capable of getting 1 or 2, so I'm going to go with a 3. I'm going to say 3-2 Chelsea win. I do think Palace are capable of scoring against them. But Chelsea are by far the better team.
Yeah, it's just going to depend on how if that back form makes any mistakes, or back four make any mistakes for me. But I'm going to go with Chelsea too. I like the way they're playing, and hopefully Hazard starts because Daddy needs some points. So yeah, Chelsea.
70 whatever points wasn't enough for you this week?
No, the best was 144. So.
Well, you're never gonna be the best.
Well, one of these weeks I want to be the best.
Okay.
Well, anyways, 90% going to Chelsea, 2 to a draw, 8 going to Crystal Palace. No love. Then we could be possibly moving to another boring game of the week, which is the last game on Monday, Huddersfield Town versus Fulham at John Smith Stadium. What you got?
I actually think this is probably the most important game of at least the Premier League this week. Both of these teams very desperately need these 3 points. Huddersfield coming off the 3-0 loss to Watford. Fulham have been struggling for weeks now, but I just feel like Fulham are due a win. So I'm going to go for Fulham, although I'm not entirely confident in them given the way they've been playing. They need this. I think whichever team loses this game, if there is a loser, guarantees themselves relegation. I think the loser of this game is relegated this year for sure. Maybe both of them, but I think the loser is definitely relegated.
I'm going to go with Fulham too. I think they have better choices in attacking. But yeah, I think they're due. I think their back line should be able to handle Huddersfield Town, even though it's been pretty slim, I guess, or not sturdy. What's the word for not sturdy?
Shaky.
Shaky. There you go. I love shakies. Sorry.
Okay.
So 65% going to Fulham, 11 going to a draw, 24 going to Huddersfield Town. Shirley's going to go in this game. That's it. What? And that's it for the.
There are no.
nothing?
The only big-ish European game this week is Leipzig and Hertha Berlin, which is 5 versus 6, and there are no other big games.
Oh, that sucks. Well, then that's it, ladies and gentlemen.
It is.
I like how you wrote this down.
Yep.
You finally did it.
Yeah.
So that has been it, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Also, go check out the other Across the Pond episodes that we've done so you can get some context on how good I pick teams.
Sure.
And yeah, I know Jacob's going to be releasing some FIFA videos, so if you're into FIFA, though, you have like 6 episodes coming out or something like that pretty soon?
Within the next few days, there'll be a whole bunch. I've just been lazy in uploading them, to be honest.
That's fine.
But they're already recorded and ready to go.
But yeah, they're already ready to go. So if you love FIFA just as much as this guy does, you're going to enjoy it. But that's been it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, this has been Across the Pond, where 2 American boys tell you about the worldwide world of soccer/football. I've been the host, Richard Rodillo, joined by the man with the noggin. Go ahead and, like I said, like, share, subscribe. Also, to let you guys know that we do an audio version and a video version. The video version is on YouTube. It's on College Avenue. Just type that in, and that should be popping up for you. And then the audio versions are available on SoundCloud, Google Play, and iTunes podcasts. And that's been it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.